Have you ever felt that your duties, your job, all your responsibilities were actually chains holding you back? Today, we're diving into a really profound path to freedom. And here's the thing, it's not about escaping your life, but about transforming your actions from the inside out. You know what I'm talking about. Your job, your obligations, that daily grind. Does it ever feel less like a life and more like a cage? Well, if that hits home, you are definitely not alone. This feeling of being trapped by our duties is a dilemma that's as old as humanity itself. So, to really understand the solution, we first have to get a handle on the problem. And honestly, there's no better way to frame this than through the story of a great warrior who finds himself facing an impossible crisis of conscience. So meet Arjuna. He is on the brink of the biggest battle of his entire life. But when he looks across the field, he doesn't just see an enemy. He sees his own family, his cousins, his teachers, his friends, all in the opposing army. And he's just paralyzed. How can he fight them? How can he possibly fulfill his duty as a warrior when it means destroying everything and everyone he loves? This is his desperate plea to his charioteer and guide, Krishna. You can just feel the anguish in his words. He's lost, he's confused, and he is just begging for clarity. It's a cry for help that honestly echoes through the ages, for anyone who's ever felt totally trapped between a rock and a hard place. So what is Krishna's advice? To run away? Abandon his duty? Not at all. The answer he provides is, well, it's a bit of a paradox, but it's incredibly profound, and it forms the very heart of our explainer today. The answer is karma yoga, and it's not about giving up action. It's about learning to act in a way that doesn't create those chains we feel. It's a path to freedom through action, not from it. And this really simplifies everything down to one crucial point. It doesn't matter if you're a warrior on a battlefield or an artist at a canvas. The path to freedom isn't about what you do. The whole secret lies entirely in how you do it, in your inner approach to the task itself. Okay, let's break this down into 3 practical keys. The very first key is probably the most famous one, and it's all about learning to act with what we'll call the detached hand. The Sanskrit term for this is Nishkama karma. It literally translates to action without desire, but it's a bit more specific. It really means action without being attached to the results or the fruits of that action. So what does this look like in practice? Well, you give your absolute best to the task. You pour all your skill and focus into your work. But, and here's the big twist, you completely let go of what happens next. Whether you get a promotion or a profit, praise or criticism, you stay balanced. This simple shift frees your mind from that whole roller coaster of anxiety and fear, and it is truly transformative. Okay, let's move to our second key, and you'll see how this builds. If the first key is about how we act, the second one is about the wisdom that fuels that action. It's kind of like kindling an inner fire. This is called Jnana Agni, which means the fire of knowledge or wisdom. The idea is that true understanding has this powerful, purifying effect. It can literally burn away the binding consequences of our actions. The metaphor here is so powerful. Just as fire consumes wood and leaves only ash, the wisdom of our true nature consumes the karmic residue of our actions. They just no longer stick to us. And this contrast shows us 2 totally different paths. On one side, you have action performed in ignorance. Every little thing you do creates a new link in the chain binding you to that cycle of ups and downs. But on the other side, that very same action, when it's filtered through the lens of wisdom, becomes liberating. It leaves no trace. And this brings us to our third and final key, which really elevates this entire practice. It's what transforms our daily work from being a chore into a sacred act of devotion. The concept here is yajna, which traditionally means a sacrifice or a ritual, but in karma yoga, it means viewing every single action you perform as an offering, as a form of worship dedicated to the divine source of all existence. The path starts when you embrace your unique role in the world, your svadharma. Then you start to cultivate this understanding that everything is interconnected. And with that mindset, every single duty becomes a sacred offering to that universal source. And it is through this profound shift in perspective, we're told, that the ultimate goal is achieved. So what does it actually look like when someone masters these 3 keys? What's the result? Well, the texts call this state siddhi, which means perfection or accomplishment. It's a state of being fully liberated while still being fully engaged in the world. The person who achieves this is unshakable. Their intellect isn't swayed by outcomes. Their mind is calm and under their control. They've transcended that ego, so there's no more me and mine driving their actions. They treat praise and blame, friend and foe, with the same serene equanimity. They're the calm eye in the middle of life's storm. And that really is the core takeaway. The wisdom of karma yoga doesn't ask us to become hermits. It teaches that true freedom is found right here, right in the midst of life, by mastering our inner world as we engage with the outer one. So I'll leave you with this question to ponder. Think about your day. Is there one task, one meeting, one chore, doesn't matter how small, that you can approach differently? What is one duty you can perform not as a burden, but as a sacred offering? The path to freedom, well, it begins with that single intentional act.